Hello, hello. Thank you to everyone that has showed up today. We definitely are excited to have you here with us at Bay Path University. And today we will be having a fun conversation with some excellent folks that's going to give us some helpful ideas, especially with us looking to go into being a part of the applied data science field and looking at what we want to do once you finish at BayPath. That's always a big question. What do I do with my life now that I have the degree? The It's a lot. So we're going to get to it and we're going to have a fun conversation. If you guys have any questions, click on the button up at the top of your screen with the arrow. You'll see a section where you can actually ask questions. You can type them or you can unmute yourself and be a part of this and ask the panelists these wonderful questions that you may have. So without further ado, let's introduce it. If you're looking at coming to Bay Path, we definitely have been around for some years and we're growing into a wonderful community. So we have campuses on Long Meadow, East Long Meadow, and online. So our graduate program, you guys are fulfilled by being online, but you can also come to campus if that's something you're looking forward to. We also have a current body of students that are here that are over 3,000 students with our traditional students, our undergrad online students, and our graduate program. So between that, we have a high number of students that love the campus and love coming here and working with our faculty and staff here on campus. We have over 20,000 alumni that are still here. So just like you finish, you open doors for people to come after you. So we love that. And we are accredited, regionally accredited, and you won't have to worry. Are they accredited? Will I be recognized? Of course you will. And we have that here. So we are accredited through the New England Commissions of Higher Education. When you're looking at that, you have a plethora of resources when it comes to your faculty that work with you, and you'll learn more about that today, especially because they bring so much to the table when they're working with you. So you'll have that when you're here at Bay Path University. You have access to support systems, whether it's with your writing or anything like that. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Professor Lu, and she will be introducing her panelists, and we'll be having a wonderful conversation about the Applied Data Science program and what's to come as far as careers for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashida, for the introduction. And oh, now I see Sajar also joined as a panelist. I was about to shout out, like if it's in the audience, maybe like, he can sign in again. So thank you. Now I think we're all good.
Yes.
So again, my name is Xiaoxia Liu, and I'm director of the Applied Data Science program at Bay Path University. And I'm delighted to welcome you to today's hot topic on pursuing a let me see if I can share my screen on. Can you guys see my screen? What do you see? Do you see our chat? Hold on. How do I?
You need to share your slide.
My slide. My slide is here.
We see something else. We see a schedule.
So you cannot choose screen, right? Oh, actually, I can. I can do the. Oh, sorry. 1 second.
We see a blue screen now.
Okay, hold on. That should work in a second. Oh, this one.
We see the
screen at least now, like with a
yes.
very brief. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually need the slide or whatsoever, but I thought like it would be nice to have this one. At least we know what we are doing here. So anyway, welcome again. Sorry about all this conversation about the technology here. So I'm really happy to welcome you to today's hot topic, and we are actually very honored to have a fantastic panel of experts who will share their insights and experience in the data science industry, and they will discuss their career journey, the value of the graduate degree, and they will offer us some advice for an aspiring data scientist. So again, without further ado, let's just dive in. But first of all, please allow me to introduce our panelists. So we have Tommy Blanchard. He received his bachelor in computer science from University of Waterloo and PhD in cognitive science from University of Rochester. And he also did his postdoc training at Harvard. And he has worked as a data scientist for many years, and first as an individual contributor, and then as a manager, and then manager. He has worked in the healthcare industry, consumer electronics, and marketing technology. And next, we have Hassan Mossed. He holds a PhD in computer science from University of Waterloo. Now I'm reading that and I realized Tommy and Hassan, you guys are probably have some overlap or not, like from University of Waterloo. And he also has a master in engineering from MIT and an MBA and a master from Texas and A&M. That's a long list of, and Dr. Mossed is also a AJAX faculty member and a principal solutions architect and AWS Amazon Web Services. And he works a lot with generative AI, machine learning, and other cloud services. And I believe he also worked at IBM and a few other, IBM and Watson and the other platform as well, and some other leading companies. And last but not least, we have Sajar. I'm actually very proud to have him here. So he's a proud alumnus of our master program in data science. I believe he entered the program in 2020 and then finished in 2022. So he's a pretty recent graduate. And he got a job in the data science field 3 months before finishing the program. And his career journey is actually very interesting. I would love to hear more later. So I'll save some of the surprise to later. But Sajar actually successfully transitioned into the data science field from working as a field engineer on the drilling sites. And so that's pretty exciting. I would love to hear more later. Anyway, that's our panelist. So maybe we can just get started.
Welcome.
Welcome. So I have here as an agenda, right? As you can see, that's our introduction, and I'm hoping we can, for the theme of the day, the panel discussion, I would love to touch a few aspects, right? The panelists' career path, their choices, and hopefully we can talk about their educational journey and also offer some industry insights and trends, and then share some additional insights about getting a graduate degree and also some advice for future data scientists or current data scientists. So maybe we can just get started. So on the first topic here, on the career path and choices, Tommy, or just put you on as the first speaker here. So what inspired you to pursue a career in data science after your cognitive science PhD?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so after my cognitive science PhD and being a postdoc for a little while, it was sort of a slow dawning realization that academia, originally I had planned on being a full-time academic researcher, and slowly dawned on me that that was not the path for me. And so it was kind of just serendipity. I was looking around, hey, what can I do with the skills that I happen to have, which were, I had an undergrad in computer science, so I knew how to program, and my science background gave me statistics and machine learning. And turns out those are valuable skills. So it was kind of lucky I was looking around what I could do with what I had and learned, oh, hey, there's this thing called data science, and it uses these skills that I've gotten in a different context. And I started looking at what data science was and got really excited about it. It sounded basically like the parts of science that I liked without all of the parts that I didn't like. And so it was really exciting to learn that, oh, I can just go and do all the fun stuff, all the analysis and using technical tools, programming and solving interesting problems without writing grant applications and all the stuff that I did not enjoy about the scientific career.
That's excellent. Hassan, so can you share how your diverse educational background, you have so many degrees, right? How does that shape your approach to data science?
Well, I always believe that continuous education has to be there because you always have to learn because technology is changing all the time. And even this year and last year, generative AI is changing the way we think, the way we code, the way we improve our productivity. So for me, it's always about continuous education. And while I'm doing a continuous education, I have collected so many degrees. So while working, I was going to University of Waterloo. Tommy, nice to meet you from the same university. And
I didn't realize until now.
Wait.
That's good. So we know the area, we know the university. So it's really, for me, it's all about continuous education.
I'm on a meeting. What's up?
All the time, and at the same time, I did an engineering degree. You have multidiscipline. It's not only about. Sorry, I hear some background noise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Thank you. So basically, it's all about multidiscipline because you have to learn a little bit about everything. That's the reason why I have an engineering degree, which I learned so much from it. From MIT, computer science, all about coding, software, machine learning, and also about business, because when you are talking to customers, when you are working on organizations, you have to understand the requirements, you have to understand the business outcome that you want to achieve, so you can apply the technology to it. Because of that, I'm able to find jobs quickly. I'm able to basically move from one team to another, and I'm able to grow my career over time. So it's good to do always continuing education. And by the way, data science is broad. It's not just one thing. You have data engineering, you have machine learning, you have artificial intelligence, you have business analysis. So there are so many areas within data science because it's just broad.
Exactly. Thank you. Sarah, are you able to hear us?
You just need to unmute yourself.
Can you see that little unmute button on the right?
I got you.
corner?
Can you hear me
go.
now?
Yes, we can. I think we'll head it to you next. Like, what motivated you to switch from, I believe it's a, what kind of engineer? I forgot. It's about gas, right? To data
Yes,
science.
petroleum
Could you share your
engineering.
journey with us shortly?
Yeah, so I worked in petroleum engineering field for about 15 years, working on across the world in different overseas locations. And I was always drawn to the mathematics part. So I was a bit of a math geek. And when COVID happened, I couldn't travel anymore. So I thought, okay, what can I do with my skill set? And what is it out there that is novel, that is trendy and sexy, if you will? And so I found that, okay, I can do data science. What do I need to do? What I'm going to do? And then I decided to go to the master's program. So what always interested me and made me wonder is how I can drive business impact. How can I make lives of people better, and how I can use resources better. So that these things interested me. So that's why I chose to study data science.
Thank you for sharing your story. It's always nice to see, like, how our students, past graduates can actually successfully switch their career to data science. So maybe we can move on to, like, some of additional educational journey. So Hassan, we just talked, right? You have like, you chose to pursue multiple advanced degrees, right? How, we kind of touched that already, but I'm wondering, like, if you can elaborate a little bit more on how have they benefited your career, like getting, all graduate degrees?
Yeah, I'm able to find jobs quickly.
That's good. That's important.
That's quicker.
HR screening always screens your team.
Basically, when companies they look at your advanced degrees, it's entry point for me. Assume you have they have thousands of resumes. My resume is always in the top because I have PhD in computer science. I have an engineering degree from MIT. I have MBA and I have MS, which means they are willing to talk to me. And I have to prove myself during the interview, so which means makes it easier because of that diverse background. But it's not only that, because I was able to acquire the right experience. I have been doing computer science for almost 20 years now. I have been teaching as well. When I teach, I learn at the same time. And I have been working with great companies, like with Philips, where I learned so much about healthcare life sciences. I work with IBM, where I learned the basic of generative AI with Watson and that whole IBM culture. And now I work with a great company, AWS, Amazon Web Services, where I'm always challenged, I'm always learning new things, which means, in a nutshell, the degrees, the experience makes it easier for me to grow my career, and I love what I do. So everything is easier for me, which is good. So the more education you get, the more certifications you get, the more new skills you learn over time, it's going to help you with your career. And exactly what happened to me.
Thank you. I think that makes total sense. What about you, Sarah? Like, how did the data science program, like from BayPass, actually equip you with for your current role?
Yeah, as a person coming from a non-tech background, I wanted to get some solid foundation for my future career. So having completed the master's degree program, eventually it's not about what my belief, it's not about what's on the resume, but it's more important if you can you talk not only talk the talk but walk the walk. So you can do a course and you go to an interview, and if you don't have solid background, you don't know what to say. But in a master's program, you build a mental framework, all the pieces of the puzzle, and it helps you to build that structured knowledge only a university can provide. And at the program, I learned such skills like databases, data engineering, visualizations, statistics, analytics, machine learning. So it's like end-to-end types of projects you will be involved when you're out there in the field. I mean, in the real world.
Totally agree. Thank you. Tommy, I'm wondering how did your graduate studies prepare you for a successful career in data science, and how would you advise prospective master students to make the most of their graduate education?
Yeah, so I think my education, gave me, first of all, just the obvious stuff, the foundational, like learning statistics and getting more practice with messy data sets and all of that stuff was, of course, very useful. Another thing that I did that I found very useful was I actually did a data science boot camp. So since I didn't actually have the data science formal education, it wasn't a data science degree that I did. I did a boot camp. It was just 2 months, so it was taking the foundation that I knew a lot of the parts, but not data science tools. And so it was 2 months that just gave me kind of the breadth of some of the different common tools in data science, and that was actually extremely useful. So one thing that I would advise students do is like, you're not going to come out of any educational program being an expert in everything, but one really important thing is just like learn what's out there, because you never know when some tool that you've heard of but haven't like used extensively and you're not quite sure how it works, just knowing the right keywords can kind of give you that first step to know, oh, hey, I've seen this kind of problem before. I think this is the right tool. Let me go and research how to apply it to this problem. That can be extremely useful. So come in with an open mind, like learn as broadly as possible, even if you don't have the opportunity to go super deep. The other thing that my education really gave me was communication. One thing that is, I think, really often overlooked when thinking about trying to get a job is how important communication, both written and oral communication, how important those are for especially technical jobs. To be able to talk through, a technical problem, a data science problem, and you might need to talk to a bunch of non-technical stakeholders, it's hard to make that connection. And so the better that you are at communicating and breaking down technical stuff for the non-technical people and understanding the non-technical people to kind of translate it into the technical thing, that is a really important skill and something that you should work on building up through any education that you do, any presentation that you do. That's an opportunity. Right. So take that kind of those opportunities to practice communication really seriously.
Yeah, thank you for that advice. So maybe we can continue with you, Tommy. Like, what major changes, because you've been working in this field for that many years, right? What major changes have you observed in the data science field over the past few years?
I mean, the obvious one is the advent of large language models, right? So we've all heard of ChatGPT now. So I think there's been two major implications of that. One is that it's opened up a whole bunch of new use cases for tools that otherwise didn't really exist. So there are a lot of ways of using them to be better chatbots. So like the chatbot area is getting kind of revamped as people start building what are called, oh shoot, what is the term now? I want to say DAG, but that isn't right. RAG, there we go. DAG is directed acyclical graph, and that got stuck in my head. RAGs, yeah. So being able to attach a chatbot to your help documentation for your product or whatever it is, so that it can actually grab that information and you can point back to the place that it's getting that information for the user to access. So those have become pretty popular, and so that's one cool new application that didn't really exist. I don't know when RAG started, but that was fairly recent. So it's opened up new opportunities. So working with AI in general has opened up. The other thing is encoders have become a lot better. So what's an encoder? The idea is you want to build a classification model that takes in some text and classifies that in some way. There are a bunch of different methods of doing that, but one way of doing it that's become very powerful and increasingly popular is to throw it into one of these large language models, just the encoder part, which means it's just taking text and turning it into numbers that a machine learning algorithm can use, and it preserves some of the information content of the language itself, so that you can do things like classify, hey, is this I used to work in medicine. Is this note talking about a sick patient or a healthy patient, right? Looking at clinical notes would be one kind of application of this.
Yeah, I'm sure Hassan, when you hear Tommy was saying this, right? You are actually with AWS, doing all this AI stuff. I'm wondering if you can, in your view, like, you know, what emerging technologies in AI and machine learning should aspiring data science focus on? Since
Yeah, one of the big topic that everyone keeps talking about in the industry is agentic AI or AI agents, which means you can create agents that can do, you can create different agents that can do something extremely well, one task extremely well. And within Amazon Web Services, we have model choices because not only one model will do everything. So you have to choose the model that makes sense. And if you look within Amazon, you have access to hundreds of models. The latest one, as you are all aware, DeepSeek, just the last it came out, it changed the whole model within cloud providers, within generative AI. DeepSeek is available within Amazon. Right now, as a data scientist, you need to focus on data science. You don't have to focus on the infrastructure. You can just the model, deploy it, and start using it. Right now with the chatbot, anyone, you don't have to be data science to start interacting with chatbot or with agent to ask questions, get answers, summarize documentation, summarize book, generate new content. So basically, we're going to see more and more agents, and there is high demand for data science, employees. So if you have the right machine learning skills, if you have, don't forget about data engineering. If you know Python, it's one of the most used programming language in AI and generative AI. You will be in high demand, and you can work anywhere. And really, agentic AI is the one that we're going to see more of in the next few years. I know we keep talking about large language models, but you have, it's not just one model that does one thing. You have what they call multi-model, which is a model that can do text to text, images, images to text, voice recognition, creating videos, creating images. So you're going to see more of that in the next few months and few years. You can generate, movies, you can generate tutorials just using generative AI without having an army of human doing.
Yep. And Sandra, I know you are your current role is more around like BI engineer, right? So probably not much on the machine learning side, but I'm wondering, like, you know, what I know, and also you're recently transitioned into this role, right? So what emerging trends or development in the industry, like in your area, have caught your attention? Like anything you notice, like trending?
Yeah. So I wanted to say this to the potential students of the program that Hassan and Tommy talked about large language models, AI. So not to be intimidated by these, that first you need to learn simple things like Python, statistics, classical machine learning algorithms, then go into deep learning and learn about large language models. So, and even with that smaller skill set, there is a ton of work out there. So if there is a tool that can do the job, you're going to use the simplest tool that you can use. And at my work, my position is called BI engineer, business intelligence engineer. And as a data science graduate, what I bring to the team is we call it enhancing the business intelligence with machine learning. So we're going from descriptive statistics to predictive and prescriptive analytics. So I'm working on such projects on our team that helps businesses or our business and business units to make decisions based on the data and the best outcome we expect. And these are just standard pre-ChatGPT tools that still doing a lot of work done. So answering your question about what emerging trends, of course, ChatGPT and large language models, but I want to point out you don't have to be a developer of them. You can be a user and a proficient user, and you still can benefit from it a lot. How? You can increase efficiency of your work by letting it do the most boring stuff and let you do the most creative stuff. So by having more time for creativity, we are realizing our potential as humans even better with help of these technologies.
Very well said. Thank you. Exactly. Like no matter what, right? Yeah, with all those large language model or generative AI, you still need to have the foundation. You still need to have the that language built, right? Just so that you understand what you're doing or trying to make your contribution or being creative with all those tools available to you. As an assistant, I feel like, I constantly use all sorts of co-pilots, or like, I utilize lots of models from Bedrock as well, but it doesn't mean like, I'm being replaced. I feel like, you're my tool. I'm using that just to help me make my work more efficient. So absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. But generative AI is definitely seems like gonna be the trend, and it's changing everything as well. Okay, so maybe we can back to the topic about the value of the graduate degree a little bit. And we're here just talking about a master's degree so that you can at least enter the door here, right? And we kind of already asked this question similar, I mean, like, not exact questions, but similar way, right? Like, as Hassan mentioned earlier, right? Like, having that degree can actually, get you an interview. But I'm wondering, Tommy, because you mentioned a lot about like, like as an individual contributor and then manager and then, people manager, I'm wondering how was your formal education contributed to your managerial success, like on that side?
Yeah, so I think a really important thing to going up the manager path, the management path, is that it's not just about the getting all of the technical tools, right? It's also, there's a whole bunch of soft skills. And so I already talked about like, hey, communication is really, really important. It's important as an individual contributor as well. It's even more important as a manager, of course, because now you're the one talking to, you talk to a lot of people as a manager. So you really need to have good communication skills. You also need to be able to see not just what tools are right for a job, but understand a business problem, right? Like, why are we solving this problem? Because it's very, very commonly the case that you are, again, working with a business user that doesn't know the full range of technical tools that could be applied to something. You're working with an individual contributor who has a broad range of tools that they could use, and they're raring to go to use whatever tools they, the latest hot tools that they want to use. And as manager, the job is often to make sure that the way you on the technical side are approaching the problem is kind of right-sized for the technical problem. Actually, this I think dovetails well with what you were saying, Censar, about you use the simplest tool for the job. That is a big part of being a manager. Like, understand the problem. Don't assume that the business user knows what the right tool is. If they suggest something, great, but dig a little deeper, think critically about what problem they're actually trying to solve. And so a formal education can really like help expose you to enough problems and enough like higher level. It's not just like, oh, do this assignment where you're applying, logistic regression or whatever technical tool to a problem. Think a little bit like one level deeper, like, why are we doing this? When you work on a capstone project, like, why is this an interesting problem to solve? Thinking at that extra kind of level of abstraction is critical to being a successful manager and being able to lead a team that's able to deliver real value.
Yeah, I think so. Like, in order to get that critical thinking or logic thinking, it's critical here. Sarah, I'm just wondering, like, what specific skills and knowledge from our program have been most valuable in your career, like, in your current career? If you can share a little bit, that'd be perfect for, advice for our students.
Yeah, sure. In addition to those skills that I already named, like statistics, analytics, machine learning, I think if we for 1 minute forget about the technical skills, but the soft skills, like during the capstone project, you learn how to manage a project. It's a small project where there is only one person involved and you're a supervisor, but you learn how to address the problem, understand the problem, look for the tool, model, and present. So you basically execute a small data project from the beginning to the end. What's missing from that is that you need to continuously improve on it. So within the timeline of the capstone project, it's not possible, and then I also will add to Tommy's words that when you are working, you also learn how to understand the problem, understand the business, and how you envision the solution. And the rest, whether it's logistic regression or tree-based classification, whatever the algorithm, is just the small technical details that you will figure out anyway. The most important skill for, I think, data scientists is the business understanding and coming up with a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you learn as going through all of these subjects in the master's program. You face different problems, you face and weekly assignments, you face course projects, and you learn these skills as you go.
Thank you. So Hassan, we talked about your degree already, but I was just wondering, because data science is actually evolving so fast, right? As we all know, do you think having a graduate degree actually helps you to stay updated with latest trend? Because after all, right, you're just learning all these courses, you get your degree, but is there any way you're seeing getting a graduate degree actually helps you to stay updated with latest trend or some technology advancement?
Yeah, universities are always changing their program to adjust to the latest technologies. Like within BayPath, for example, there is a course for database systems where I teach from time to time. But when I'm teaching database systems, I'm not teaching the old database systems. I'm teaching the new database systems and the latest one that are being used by large corporations, which means students, when they leave the program, they have that experience, which means they are good to go day one on focus on database. When they go, for example, and they start looking at visualization, they learn the latest advancement in that field, whether it's QuickSight or something else that exists in the marketplace, and there are a lot of companies are using them. So yeah, it's good to have that degree, and it's good to learn the latest technologies, the latest enhancements. You learn the basics as well. Machine learning, when you're learning the basics, when you go to databases and data engineering, you're learning the basics of data architecture. That helps you a lot to really advance your career. So it's always continuous learning, never stop learning. And yes, you can get degrees while learning, why not? It's going to help you get that interview, grow your career within that company that you are working for.
Yeah, I totally agree on that one. And also, yes, our curriculum, we are constantly updating it just so that it's current. But also, learning something foundational, say like, logistic regression, linear regression has been on there for years, right? But learning that foundation piece can help you keep learning by yourself, right? Even after graduate, like, if you have the ability to learn, which is critical because things are changing, right? You can not learn everything from school, but you have to have that foundation knowledge to be able to learn constantly. So I think that's another critical piece as well. Like, once you have that foundation, yeah, and you build yourself a knowledge base to keep learning, and that will be appreciated by any employer. You're not just learning technical stuff, right? Even learning the domain knowledge, things like that, that's also critical, but you have to have that ability to keep learning. Excellent.
I think
Yeah,
one
go ahead.
question that I have that I always get is one about the domain learning. I always get what should I be doing as for what's important as far as domain specific knowledge if you're applying it to applied data science, and how can it be acquired? So are you doing medical imaging, financial modeling? What is it? So how do you guys handle that question?
I can take one. Sorry, just jump. So
Yeah, go ahead.
for me, you always look at the marketplace. You look at, for example, if you want to find a job in medical imaging field, you have to be in the right area. You cannot be far away. Like for example, in Massachusetts, you have life sciences. You have a lot of companies that are in the healthcare space, life science space. You have medical imaging, like Philips is in the headquarters of North America, is in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So yeah, you are going to be in the right place. If you are in a different area, like for example, in New York, we're talking about the financial. So you have that's if you want to live there, of course, if you are willing to move, that's fine. You can pick anything. If you want to be in the financial hub of the world, that's New York. And yeah, you have to focus on financial modeling. You have to focus on hedge fund, on trading, and all of that. It all depends on the area. And also you need to focus on something that where there are lots of jobs. You can go to any jobs website like LinkedIn, Monster, and others, and you just look at what are the jobs, whether it's medical, healthcare, life sciences, financial services, retail, or other areas. That's how I look at the market, and that's how you zoom in and you focus on one area.
Any other insights?
I guess I can speak a little bit to it. One thing that I was surprised by when I went into data science is just how little domain expertise matters. And I just mean that in the sense that, like, I had no medical background, and then I worked at a healthcare company. And then when I was looking for jobs again, I had no electronics and engineering or signal processing experience. Got hired at a consumer electronics company next. I had no marketing or experience working at a software as a service company. Got hired at a marketing tech company. So one of the cool things about data science is that the skills are general enough and easy enough to apply to another domain that you can do that. They're easily applied in other domains, which can actually be a really fun aspect of being a data scientist. Is, you're not tied to a specific industry, and so you get to learn about a lot of different industries. Of course, as a hiring manager, right? So I've seen a lot of resumes. If you do happen to have that extra domain expertise, that's always something that kind of stands out a little bit on a resume. Like, oh, hey, this person's worked on, the same kind of data that we have. Great, like, let's put that on the top of the pile kind of thing. So it does help you get noticed a little bit. It can be that extra, gold star on a resume kind of thing, but it's by no means necessary. Just because the real skills are the data science skills, and they're so broadly applicable.
Yeah, I can speak a little to that too. I totally reconcile what Tommy just said. Yeah, I don't have any medical background either, but I worked for, in healthcare industry before as well. I worked for insurance domain as well, and maybe marketing a little bit as well. So you can apply data science to any industry for sure. Anywhere that needs data or generate data, you could make your contribution. But the thing is, yes, domain knowledge is critical. But it doesn't mean like, you know, you have to have the background there, because, you know, data science often like requires collaboration with like all sorts of teams, right? Even within the same company, you could be working with a marketing team, you could be working with customer service team, all those different teams, right? Each different team, even within the same company, they could have different domain knowledge, right? So, I mean, because you are working as a team, there's always learning opportunity to even learn from your team members, right? Not data scientists, but other business partners. You can even just schedule, like, you know, maybe you can walk me through your daily process just so that I know, like, you know, what I'm trying to solve here, right? What model I'm going to build is actually going to help you, but I need to understand your process here, right? So there's you know, think of that as a collaboration. You can always get additional domain knowledge from your, you know, whatever business partners you're going to work with. And then also there's always learning, like, you know, reading or ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever model. Like, you know, if you're not quite sure about marketing, maybe you can even get some fundamentals there as well, right? But find something you are really passionate about and interested in, right? And then, like, you know, if you have that interest, you can always read more, find out more. Even by doing some projects, you can learn more. And then data science itself is like, you know, the same technology, just applying to different domains.
I just tend to agree. Basically, data science is generic enough. You can apply it to any industry, but at the same time, I emphasize that having that domain expertise is going to help you. I will just give an example. If you have data science and you have healthcare background, you are able to speak to the CTOs of healthcare companies, because the standard changes from one industry to another. Financial services is not the same thing as healthcare. Healthcare is not the same thing as, even within healthcare, medical imaging is different from electronic health records, so they're a little bit different. So once you have, if you can combine the two, yeah, data science is great, but if you can combine with domain expertise, you are able to take it to the next level with the CTOs, because the CTO is not going to talk to you if you don't know his domain expertise, things like that. So good combination.
Yeah, and I get that question a lot is, okay, well, I have a research background, I work in the healthcare field. Why would this be beneficial to me? So that's typically a big question, and Shausha has trained me awesome. So all the stuff you guys are saying, I say, so I'm loving it, because students that are in the program and the students that are coming into the program, they get to hear it from the people in the field and understand it more from just what I'm saying. So that's definitely a big thing. Another question that I see posed is, how do you stay up to date with what's in the industry? Do you go to conferences? Do you go to webinars? What is it that students should do, and people, once they've gained their graduate degree, what can they do to stay up on what's going on with the trends?
Jump again. So for me, I always attend conferences. Like I said, I work with Amazon Web Services, and one of the top things for Amazon Web Services is continuous learning. So I tend to attend conferences, like one of the largest radiology conferences last year. It's about medical imaging. I'm big on medical imaging. So I have data science background, same time medical imaging. So it does help to connect with companies like Philips, like GE, and learn from them and be there and present to them. So, and you create that network because we are, you know, it's like you know each other in that industry. Also, you have access to a lot of online, free online tutorials. Like students, yes, they have bypass, but at the same time, you have companies like Amazon and other companies, they have free online tutorials that you can learn about generative AI, that you can do some type of game day or immersion day. And they even provide free resources. Like, for example, there is a program, Coding for Girls. like girls, like high school, they go, they attend those classes, free coding, and they always go. So it's there are lots of online tutorials at the university within BayPath. Basically, we have access to like books, to demos, to tools that you can learn from as well. But just attending conferences, creating a network is going to help you with your continuous learning.
Yeah, and also learning by doing, like, when you're doing any project, say, like, that's the opportunity to learn as well, right? Because many times if you're actually doing a project for a job, that means, like, it's in current need, and you don't necessarily know everything, right? So learning on the fly would actually helps. Like, you have to do additional research based on what you know, right? You can just learn additional tools, like, there is, as I just mentioned, right, lots of tutorials available. Like, one big thing about data science, I feel like, the community is it's just out there, right? It's public. Like, even prior to ChatGPT, right, you still have a Stack Overflow, all those things, right? Any questions you may have with Python coding, you're not alone. You can definitely find the answer through Google. So that's also learning, right? Like, even by code, say you have an error, like solving that error, that's some additional learning you could do. So lots of just grab all the opportunity to learn to make yourself better.
Yeah, and one other thing, just riffing a little on Hassan, a point you made at the very end there about networking. Being in a graduate program is a great time to network. You will be peers with a bunch of other people at a similar point in, their development as data scientists. Keep in touch with them, right? You never know when a conversation with one of those peers, they'll mention something, some cool tool or some cool development that you hadn't heard about before, and that'll, trigger something. Talk to them about the work problems you're having after, you graduate, whatever it is. You'll be surprised at how often those connections lead to really important discoveries of developments in the field.
Yeah. And Sandra, I mean, like, you are totally switched to a different industry, right? I mean, like, you probably have some saying in this as well, like, regarding the domain knowledge, and also like the keep learning, like, keep current, like if you have any insights there.
Yeah, regarding the domain knowledge, so the company I work for is in the automotive industry. So it's a used cars marketplace. So I think the biggest challenge for me in this position was not related to math, machine learning, or coding, but to learn the rules of the business. And almost 3 years in the company, I'm still learning about different rules and different business units. And the more you know, the more opportunities there are for you to apply your data science knowledge and to help the company drive profitability. And I also wanted to ask to excuse myself because I have a hard stop. It's been a great pleasure to be invited to this panel discussion and to meet Hassan and see Tommy again. And
Same here.
ma'am, I didn't have a chance to know your name.
Rashida.
Oh,
He started after he graduated. Maybe take
yes.
Yes,
Rashida.
Rashida. And so I'm wishing all our attendees best of luck in their studies. Thank you. Nice seeing you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sarah. I think I didn't notice we are already at 4:30, but I think like one last final question, and then maybe you can wrap up, right? Like, I'm just wondering, Tommy and both of you, right? What advice would you give to someone just starting their career in data science, like, for recent graduate, for example, trying to look for a job, anything, like, any advice you could give them as an early career in data science? And Tommy, you already mentioned about communication, about other soft skills. Anything else you could think of, like, you know?
The only thing I can think of is, since you mentioned, you know, looking for jobs. Job searching is hard. If you're doing the program and you haven't done it before, it can be really discouraging putting your application out there a bunch and sometimes not even hearing back from something that you thought was like your dream job. So when you do go through that, know that that's like everybody's experience with job searching. There are a lot of jobs in data science, but at the same time, there's also a lot of applicants. And so any given application you put in, unfortunately, is unlikely to go through. So like, just know that, you know, it's emotionally difficult. You'll put out a lot of applications. It will eventually, only one has to work out. And there's lots and lots of opportunities, especially if you cast a pretty wide net. So you'll get a job. It just, you know, might take some heartache. So
I completely agree with Tommy. Initially, it can be discouraging, but just keep applying, keep learning. Because every time you have an interview with the company and you don't get the job, you learn something and you're gonna go to the next level. Also, when you're interviewing with companies, just look online. You're gonna find lots of questions that they ask. And for every question, prepare for it. And the more you prepare, the better you become. But like Tommy said, just continue applying the quantity, and at the end, you just need to get one job. So spend 1,000 and you just need to get one job. And once you get that job, you acquire the experience. And if you don't feel like that's the right job for you, then you can apply for others while working. But don't be discouraged. Just learn, just improve, but continue applying. We all went through it, and rejection is okay. Don't feel bad about it. You're good. But just continue applying and be positive always, even if there is a rejection.
And you have two great professors that we have professors that work with you and they guide you. So, okay, well, this is what you've been talking about in class. Start to do your research now.
Yeah,
So by the time you're done, you know which way to go. And you'll also have your great program director to always guide you, because she's also your academic advisor moving forward. So that's something that I definitely want to say thank you. And this was very knowledgeable. I've been intrigued by it. Definitely have learned a lot from you guys talking. And I look forward to doing something like this again. Professor Liu, what would you like to say before we close?
Thank you. Of course, thank you all for joining us today, and a special thank you for all our panelists. You know, all three of you are amazing to share your perspectives and advices. I feel like, you know, your stories definitely can provide some inspiration for, you know, everyone who is considering a career in data science. And as we wrap up, I just want to remind you about the, you know, there's apparently there are some advantages of pursuing a advanced degree in data science, right? Especially, I mean, here we are 100% online, so it's very flexible for you to join from anywhere in the US. And the curriculum-wise, I feel like, you know, we are gonna equip you with the skills and knowledge which are needed, right? And it's very current. But if you have any questions or would like more information about our program, please don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you again for your participation. And we look forward to seeing many of you take the next step in your data science journey with us. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.